Hello there, guys. Yep, I'm doing another video. This is part 2 to my console video. I'm going to have a part for each console because I love them so much and I think they deserve all the attention except for the Nintendo Switch because it's just so small and it's a portable console. I like it, but if I'm going to do something like a long video for that, probably I want to wait if the Switch Pro will ever come out and I'll buy that. And that's something I do actually want to get. So yeah, but first, let's do the Nintendo 64, which was the first video game console I ever played on. Not this one, but one that our friends had. It's the first console I ever played on. It is not my favorite console, per se. My favorite console design is the Super Nintendo. My favorite console for games is this one. Although I have ordered an original Xbox with games, and I got a really good deal on that. And so I'm going to see if I like those games better, but also the nostalgia for this thing, because I played it when I was young, and it was the only video game system I was allowed to play that I was able to play. And then I played it with my brother. We played Super Smash Bros. We played Ocarina of Time like once or twice. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. This one has some surface scratches. I bought it from, well, I got it for Christmas, but they got it from this place called DK Oldies, and they're okay. They're good. They refurbished it. Everything works perfect. And when I got it, there were very few surface scratches and stuff like that. Everything was here and all worked. I also got back here. If you'll see, they're multi-out. But I got, for this, I got now it's like $30 to get, and it's an HDMI converter, and so I get to play it with rather than composite, I get to play it with like component style video. It has a little bit of problems with red, specifically the color, but it's better than the AV out, which also I have right now I have 2 systems with AV. And I'm going to have another one pretty soon. No, actually, well, it's going to be component, but AV and component, they both work on my TV, but they take up the same slot. So I have to unplug so much stuff, and it's really annoying. So I'm glad I have this in HDMI. So let's take a look here. This was released in 1996. It's beautiful. I mean, a lot of people insult this console design because they say, oh, it wasn't that good looking, or it's not as iconic, but honestly, I would say, although some people say it's quirky and has some weird problems, which it does, it's beautiful, and I would say that it is probably the best Nintendo system before 2000, and probably best Nintendo system after 2000, honestly. Its sequel, the GameCube, was actually amazing. It's so underrated and really sad. But this thing is beautiful. Yeah, the Super Nintendo does look better. And the original Nintendo, the Nintendo Entertainment System, looks good. I would say probably looks a little bit better than the N64. But this thing's awesome. And I have the most, out of all my systems, this is the second most games. I have the most Switch games, is what I have the most of, but that's because I've had the Switch longer, and that was my first actually owning a video game console. Me and my brother share that. So yep, 4 player ports, which was the first time this had really been done on a home console. Also, let's look at this. It was one of the very first consoles to include expansion stuff. For the memory, like factory expansion stuff, and I actually have here. This is the expansion pack. Now, originally this thing came with a jumper pack, and that's a lot smaller than this. It has a sticker, and there's part of the sticker. Oh, that's not focusing very well. Sorry. Oh, come on now, focus, you little. Well, maybe if I just go back here and zoom. No, really. But you see this step. This is frustrating me. I want it to focus, and I don't want to film this part if it's not focused. Come on, phone camera. You're supposed to be a special phone camera. But see that little red right there? That's not the same, this red. Although my camera is kind of discoloring it, this is a lot darker than it looks on the camera. It's like the same color as the actual like video button on an Apple phone. It's like that color, maybe a little bit darker even. But it's a really cool thing because really this thing has 4 megabytes of RAM. That is what the Nintendo 64 has. Now RAM, we don't speak in terms of RAM anymore. But you know how like a megabyte, that's like 100 of those make up like, I'm pretty sure it's 100 of those make up a gigabyte. So you understand that that's not that much. 4 megabytes of RAM. But this memory expansion pack that I have in here, which allows me to play games at higher resolutions, it also allows me to play games like Perfect Dark and Majora's Mask, well, most of Perfect Dark, and Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64, because that had a game error in it, and a few others, but, and it improves graphics in a couple other games. But it's now 8 megabytes of RAM, which is double, which was amazing for that time period, because 4 megabytes was a lot, but 8, that was amazing. So like the PlayStation 1 ran on a slightly different system and stuff, but it didn't really have the same amount of stuff, and you had to have memory cards for that, because that used CDs, which were a lot better than the cartridges, and that's why they needed this memory expansion piece. Because those cartridges could hold a lot, but they couldn't hold that much, so you need the console to do some of the heavy lifting. So let's take a look. Just like the Super Nintendo, it has dots under here to represent which player's first. So this is first player, this is fourth player. Some people could get confused if it didn't have the dots, like this is first player. Yeah, whatever. But then up top, this is what it looks like. Power. I really like this system, the way this system does it. I am a big fan of this. I don't know why. And since the console's off, this isn't doing anything, so don't worry about that. And it doesn't even have the power brick in it. But right here is the reset button. It's just a button. I already showed you that. Nintendo logo, and up here you put the cartridge slot. Yes, this thing used cartridges, and the cartridges are awesome. They're some of the prettiest cartridges I've ever seen, and they're a little bit smaller than all the other generations, other than the Sega Genesis. And Sega Genesis cartridges are pretty cool, although I'd actually say these ones are better, probably because that's probably the nostalgia talking. But with Nintendo, that's how Nintendo makes a lot of their money. Nostalgia is moneymaker. Other video game companies don't seem to get that, but it's true. Now, let's turn this around. So, the Super Nintendo has one fan, and it goes back here. This one has a fan up here, fan here. Let's see. Oh no, my back that I use. It's poster board from the Dollar Tree, and this one is what inspired Boaz Studios to get a blue background. Yeah, that's just a random thing. And here's the other fan. So 3 fans. I'm actually 1 second. I'm gonna check. Oh yeah, no, there's more fans. Now these are classic fans, old school fans. There's not actually a fan in there. This is just an opening so the air will travel through. And my N64 has gotten very hot. I mean, very hot. And because I play games for upwards of 3 hours, especially the Zelda titles, because they're fun games. Although the graphics, they could be better. It's a really, really fun game. And I am glad that I get to play on the original console and my first console, my second console, but the first console I ever played on. It's just a beautiful system. I love it so much. This warms my heart to own this so much. Nostalgia-wise, this is my favorite console. I just love it so much. I just want to kiss it and christen it and make it into a priest because it's just that great. A lot of like big game collectors aren't a big fan of, well, there are a lot of big fans of Nintendo. There are a lot that aren't a big fan of the N64, which I don't really get. I would place the N64, I would place it at the top of Nintendo game systems. But I would place the GameCube pretty high too. Now the GameCube is a funny thing, it's because it was really underrated at the time of its release. So a lot of people would disagree with me, but I love this thing. And if you had one, you would understand why. Just I mean, it has the most iconic, like everybody says, it is the best thing to put in a cartridges on the N64 and take it out. It is also great on the Super Nintendo. I think it's great on the NES. I haven't done it yet, but I've seen it done, and to me, it just seemed cool. I like putting in cartridges. I'm weird like that. A lot of people don't like the NES cartridges, but let's take a look at the bottom here. Right here, 2 pads for so it can slide around. This one, these are actually a little bit better than these ones to an extent because they're just so big. It has a lot of the console's weight on it. Here's my DK Oldies warranty. This is void now. No, it's not. It's not. I almost tried to remove it, but I realized no. This is when I got it. I tried to remove it, but I realized no, it's void if removed. So I need to leave that on there. And then we've got this huge fan, which I would count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So altogether 8 fans on this system that I've found so far. I believe it's missing the screw here and the screw here. I'm not sure if those are actually supposed to be in there because DK Oldies is a refurbishment company. You know what? I'm gonna hold it like this. Do it like this. And so I maybe just I don't know, but I don't like those guys anymore as much because I found a lot cheaper options that work great, like old video game stores or even online to an extent. Now that's a little bit dangerous. This is a port back here, and there's only one of a kind, and this YouTube channel called Metal Jesus Rocks has an American version. So if you know the term is NTSC, there's NTUSC. I forgot, but yeah, but it's something like that, and it means America, Canada, United States and Canada. Then you also have PAL regions, which is South America, like Brazil and Europe and Australia, and then you have Japan, which is Famicom. Well, I call it Famicom regions. I can't remember its actual name, but yeah, that's where they released Famicom and rather than Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, this is control deck. This is just basic information that's on every single N64. I believe this is a replacement. It may not be because there are some scratches on it, and I have kept this thing in good condition. I have added scratches on the top because of when I took it on vacation. It was in the bag that I used, and it kind of got scratched up, and I was really sad that that happened. But it's not that bad, and a lot of people don't care about that as much as I do. I'm a neat freak and a person who has lots of OCD, so it kind of bothers me. But most people wouldn't really even notice. Now, then we got the multi-out. You can mod your N64 right here, so that it will have ultra HDMI looks, and it will look great. I don't, and I'm not going to get that. I'm probably going to get one of the slightly cheaper solutions, and one of the ones where it doesn't mess in the inside, one of those big Eon, like, adapter cables that will go right into my TV. And then you have this, which is for the N64 Power Brick. Most people, when you think of this, the Power Brick is huge. I mean, it is big, but I don't think it's nearly as big as the Xbox 360 Power Brick. Now, if you guys have seen that, you guys know how big that is, and so think of it as a little bit smaller than that. It's also really cool looking. I don't know why. I love putting it in here. But if you're noticing problems with your N64 sound or just really anything that's happening that's kind of like a little weird, make sure your Power Brick's pushed in all the way. Once I unhooked it and I hooked it back up and I realized, and I was like, what the heck is wrong with it? Did I break a game? Because I was using Perfect Dark, which had issues in the past. And then I took the game out, tried it with Ocarina of Time, realized there was a problem with that, and I knew that game was perfectly fine. So I pushed it in a little bit and found out that I was okay. And I jiggled with this around a little bit, and it was perfect. So yeah, that is this part of the console. I'm probably, on these videos, I'm probably not going to show you the wires, just because there's no reason to. I do clean this thing regularly, because it is one of my favorites. As you can see, there are some, like, plastic discrepancies up around here in this area. I have washed this with a Clorox wipe, which maybe wasn't the smartest thing, but that is not from this. This is original wear and tear, because this is used. Even though it's refurbished, it is used. Some of these scratches, these ones are for me over here, like this one. See, they're usually in the same areas. And then this, I can't tell if it's a paint chip or if it's like one of those things, you know, like if you rub against something that's silver or gold or something, it'll rub on something else. But I have not been able to get it off at all, so I'm thinking it's just through the charcoal gray paint. But yeah, that is my Nintendo 64. I'm really sad though, because there is a scratch on this, the diamond, and I love this thing. I mean, it's just so cool, and I'm about to go wash this because I am rubbing this with my thumb, and smartest thing to do. But next, let's look at probably one of my favorite N64 games, and probably the best N64 game, considering. Yes, it's Ocarina of Time, and that is how they go in, and unlike the Super Nintendo, there is no eject button. You just take it out. That is one of the most satisfying, oh my gosh, let me do it again. Oh, that's one of the most satisfying feelings you can ever have, is slotting in and out an N64 cartridge, and then, I can't show you my face, because that's the thing on my channel, but blowing into one, it's really actually really bad for it. Well, it's not really bad for it, but it is bad for it. It just is such a great feeling. This copy of Ocarina of Time I bought at Al's Music, Video, and Games. See, it's got some scratches on it. It's not the gold edition, it's the normal edition, although I do want to buy the gold edition. However, I won't play it. This is the one I'm playing. Oh no! I just noticed there's some slight dents here and here, and this is probably from that same trip that I took this on. It's perfectly fine, really, other than that. Cosmetically, it actually looks great. Especially the sticker back here. Oh, it looks so awesome. And I have confirmed this is a real one. And I didn't open it up, but I checked all the stuff that you can check on the outside, and so far it looks good. So yeah, it did have old save files on it, and with all my used video games I buy, I wipe those save files. A lot of people are like, oh, but I want to check them out, and you get a free beaten game. It's like, that's not the same experience for me. I don't want it to be my game. So I erased those save files, because if the person sold it, it means they don't care anymore. This is one of my favorite games. So yeah, it slots right into there on these edge connectors. This is obviously, I live in the United States, of course. So this is the United States version, and this is also the United States version of Ocarina of Time. I believe they released this one everywhere. I'm not sure about the third parties of all the games, but I'm almost positive about the main series ones. They've released them in PAL, NTSC, and Japan, Korea area, and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is one of my favorite games, and it's very nostalgic for me, because I used to think this had a beautiful graphics. I used to think that this was top tier. It's not. Because when I got my Switch, I actually got experience to good video games, and I played my buddy's 360. So it just kind of, it messed everything up. I didn't get to have that fantasy that this was beautiful. But this will stay, when I store this thing, this beauty, I leave this in here because it looks a lot better with the game cartridge in it than with it out of it. And so, yeah. That's what I think of that. Now, for the controller. This is a fake controller. Oh, that really bugs me. It's one of the things that bugs me. Because I got it from DK Oldies. And the inside of this controller is, for the most part, real, other than this piece here. But you see, there's no Nintendo logo. It works perfect. It has great paint job. And it has a much better joystick, because it doesn't get stuck at all. And it also, the inside, if you've seen an N64 controller, you don't get to see, see this gray area down there, that's the same color as this. You don't see that. It's actually kind of like basically this plastic loops around another piece of plastic that's stuck at the bottom, and that's how they did it. And those are known for breaking really bad, and so a lot of people install these ones that people make into it. I have 3 of these controllers, and I also bought another fake one on accident. I wanted it to be my real copy, but it wasn't. But I have these because they're a lot cheaper, and I got 3 of these with the console. And so, yeah, but I am going to get a real one, don't worry. This is just, yeah, this is what I have for right now. And it plays exactly the same, all that good stuff, and the paint job's a lot better, and it feels, it's a little bit... It's actually probably the same quality plastic, but it's a little bit different feel. I've played on an original N64 with normal controllers, and it's a little bit easier to grip. I'm not showing you, but I am holding it the normal way I had to hold an N64 controller for the most part, and it's a lot easier to grip. Also on this, it does not have the normal Nintendo logo, but it plugs in perfectly fine, works amazing. I like these controllers. I didn't know that they were fake when I got these. And that's kind of sad, and I'm really sad about it, so don't bully me in the comments. I know most of you don't know about this stuff since I was a LEGO channel, but yeah. People say this controller's a wonky design. I actually love it, probably because it was the first thing I played on, but it's relatively easy to play on if you can get used to it. If you take the time to get used to it, and you know how to hold it, which I do because I played on it for so long, then it's okay. Next, I'm going to show you an accessory, not for the N64, but for the N64 controller. This is the Rumble Pack, and it was the very, very first thing of this kind. Now, everybody thinks of the DualShock when you think of the first controller with joysticks, or the first controller with rumble, or all that kind of stuff. But really, all that stuff, including the actual controller design, was all copied over from Nintendo. And honestly, PlayStation, not the best video game company. I know a lot of people like it, and it's okay. I'll admit it, I love the look of the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. PlayStation 4 is a little weird for me, and the PlayStation 5 is just I don't like it. I will admit, though, it's good hardware. I personally, though, I prefer Xbox and Nintendo. Nintendo's my mainstream one. This is the one I love the most, because it's probably the first stuff I played on. It's the stuff I got. I just love it so much. I also like Atari. I don't have anything for Atari, but my dad had an Atari 2600 as a kid, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, this thing, basically what you do is, you have this, plug it into the back here, like that, and you would play, and the rumble feature isn't in many games, and games that would make it really immersive, like Perfect Dark or 007, it doesn't really do it, which is kind of sad. But on, like, playing Ocarina of Time, when you ride your horse, it goes bup-up, 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 and you can feel the rumble in the controller. You guys know, rumble features are common now, so it's not that big a deal. Except for on the Wii Remote, because those stinking rumble controls are awful. Yeah, the Wii Remote mostly just uses sound because it has a built-in speaker. Not a big fan of that. I prefer Rumble. I also like when Rumble, like, especially, like, really adjacent to something on the screen. It's not just a battery warning or something. But yeah, I put Panasonic in here. I love it because this is real Nintendo that I bought from DK. Well, I didn't buy it. I got this for my birthday. But from DK Oldies, and it's real Nintendo. And look at how great condition this is in. I mean, look at that. It's in such good condition. I mean, this is probably not the actual one for this, because you can't, or it is, and it's just a replacement one, because really, they don't look that good. Although it may be, because there are some scratches, and there are model stamps in it, so maybe. But yeah, I rather love this thing. Just the look of it. It's so cool to have this. I do not have any memory packs for the controllers. I mean, they're kind of useless now, because not many people have N64s, and although I am a big fan of Ken Griffey Jr., I don't have any of those sports games, so there's not a big push right now to get one. But if I do end up getting more, and I am able to play with more people, because nobody likes to play this stuff with me, then I will definitely be getting a memory pack too. But yeah, this is a really cool thing. Looks great. I just love it so much. And I love cartridges. They're much better than CDs and DVDs because those break. They're solid. You throw this thing at the wall breaks before the cartridge does. Although, disclaimer, don't try that. I don't want your games to break, and I don't want to give any trouble or something. But yeah, they're sturdy, they're built well, they look way better, they have much better art on them. And I understand CDs can hold a lot, way more than what this can. But in modern day, we have Nintendo Switch CDs, mini discs that are in cartridges. And those cartridges have readers, and they hold even more than CDs. So cartridges are coming back. I'm glad that Nintendo held on to the cartridge market. This is a long video. I want to refilm it because it's so long, but you know what? I think I'm gonna just leave it because I'm lazy, and I have no reason to make it any. I shorter or whatever. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next console review, which is not a GameCube. Sorry, GameCube fans. I like the GameCube too, and I almost bought one today, actually. But today, I had my heart set on one, and this is just a episode thing. I'm going to be coming out with an episode of it, an unboxing video. I bought an original Xbox. Doesn't come with cables, but comes with some other stuff. I'm not going to tell you. I think it'll be a good surprise for the video. I bought that console because I had my heart set on it, and I have an upcoming party that I'm going to have with some of my classmates, and we're going to play that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you don't like this console, you die. Bye.